Hey everybody, so I was talking to Elvira and I know you guys are having some difficulty right now in the class, so I decided to do another video for the second lesson. So now we're getting into trigonometry and SOHCAHTOA. This is something that's very important that you need to have memorized, okay? So SOHCAHTOA is something you need to have memorized and to know off by heart. And we're going to go through as to why, because this is going to give you all your formulas in one, okay? So first thing that we really need to notice is that trigonometry deals with right angle triangles only, okay? So this only works if the triangle that you have has that 90-degree angle, okay? Now, there's three sides of a right angle triangle. One, we're going to be calling the hypotenuse, which you should be comfortable with. That's the longest side. It's always directly opposite of that right angle, okay? So if you were to draw an arrow right out of the corner of that right angle, it should always lead you directly to the longest side, which is the hypotenuse. Then you have the side that's opposite to the angle. So the important thing here is that you're looking at the reference angle. So the reference angle is very important because that's from there is going to determine your opposite and adjacent side. So your opposite, if you were to draw an arrow out of your circle, okay, because I like to circle my angle so that I know I'm focusing on that angle. Opposite to that, we draw an arrow directly out of it and it will lead us to the opposite side. Adjacent side is just the side that's left, okay, and we call it adjacent, which also kind of means beside, okay, so it's connecting, it's also part of our angle, okay, it's not opposite, it's adjacent, right beside, okay, so those are the three parts of our triangle. Then we have our three ratios, okay, so this is where SOHCAHTOA comes into play, because SOHCAHTOA will help you remember your formulas, okay, because if you look, if we have part of our formula here is SOHCAHTOA, okay, and the S stands for sin or sine, okay, the O stands for opposite, and the H stands for hypotenuse. Ka stands for cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. That's why we have the A and the H, adjacent over hypotenuse. And then finally, tan equals O over A, or opposite over adjacent, okay? All you are required to do is write sine theta, which is just a circle with a line, which represents your angle, equals O over H. You don't have to actually write out opposite over hypotenuse. You just have to write O over H, okay? Now, it's all based on what's given to you. So if in the question you're given opposite and hypotenuse, then you know you're going to use your sine ratio. If you're given adjacent and hypotenuse, you're going to use your cosine ratio. And if you're given adjacent and opposite, you're going to use your tan ratio, okay? Yes, honey.
I want you to change the show.
I will in a second. Can you just give me a second? I'm just teaching a lesson right now, okay? Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. So in triangle XYZ, identify the hypotenuse, adjacent side, opposite side based on the reference angle. That's the important thing there, based on the reference angle. So I'm going to circle my angle. I'm going to draw an arrow out of my circle, and that's going to lead me to my opposite side. I'm going to draw an arrow out of my right angle. That's going to lead me to my longest side, which is my hypotenuse. And that's going to leave me with only one other side, which is my adjacent. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Circle my angle. Arrow out of my circle is going to lead me to my opposite side. Arrow out of the corner of my right angle is going to lead me to my hypotenuse. And that's going to leave me with one final side of adjacent. Okay? So on the next page, you're just required basically to look at what you've been given, okay? So you're stating the length of the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse side. So the first thing you always want to do is label. Don't do anything else until you've labeled all your sides. So there's my angle. I'm going to label opposite. I'm going to label my hypotenuse. And I'm going to label my adjacent. And then from there, then I can quickly, easily see, okay, my opposite is 6. Okay, my adjacent is 4.5, and my hypotenuse is 7.5. Alrighty, so you have to do that for the whole page here, and the answers are at the bottom to be able to double check there. Over here, you have to find each unknown sign to the nearest tenth. So once again, first thing you're going to do is either highlight or circle your angle so you know what you're working with. Okay, we're going to draw an arrow to label our opposite side. Arrow out of the right angle for our hypotenuse. That's going to leave us with adjacent. Okay, so now we have to determine which ratio we're going to actually use. That's all based on what's been given to us. So we've been given 17 and we're looking for A. So in this case, we are using opposite and adjacent. And if we look back at our formula of SOHCAHTOA, okay, SOHCAHTOA there shows us that O and A are with our tan ratio. So I know it's going to be tan equals O over A. I'm going to plug in what I know, which is I know the angle is 27. I know my opposite is 17 and my adjacent is A. Okay, so now I have to solve. So I'm going to multiply both sides by A so that I get that on top. Okay, remember, I'm trying to isolate and solve for A. So now I've got to divide out tan 27. Okay, so A is going to be equal to 17 divided by tan 27. The only calculator I have here at home is on my phone, so I'm not actually able to calculate this right now while I'm taking the video. So you would be doing 17 in your calculator divided by tan 27. Make sure that in your calculator you can put tan 27 in brackets, or you're going to have to do tan 27 first and then to find out the actual number and then do 17 divided by to get the correct answer. Alrighty, let's look down here at F. I circle my angle, label my opposite, label my hypotenuse. That leaves my adjacent side left. I look at, okay, what do I have? I'm looking for D, and I'm given 25. That's O and H. So I'm going to be using sine O over H. Fill in what you know. I know the angle is 15. O is 25, and H is unknown, which we can actually put D there because it's given D. And one of the things you might have noticed up here in this example is if our letter is on the bottom, we actually just switch these. So D is going to be equal to 25 over sine of 15. Okay, so you're actually just switching these two values here, and you're going to get a value that way. Alrighty? So make sure that you're comfortable with that, and then post any questions that you're having underneath this video, and that way I can either do the solution for you and post the solution, or even do a video if it seems like it's a long, difficult question, okay? But make sure you're posting your questions, please.